From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting, originating from the County Administrative Center located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue, Bakersfield, California. Kern County's vision is to create and maintain a customer-centered county government designed to garner the confidence, support, and trust of the people we serve. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Peters.
Here.
Supervisor Scribner.
Here.
Supervisor Maggard.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here.
So good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, December 9th, 9 a.m. meeting of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. We'll begin today's flag salute led by our County Council, Margot Rizon, in honor of the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and also an acknowledgement of our County Council's birthday today. So following the Pledge of Allegiance, please stay standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance.
Next, I would like to call on Nick Cullen, Director of the Kern County Animal Services Department, to introduce our Pet of the Week.
It's my favorite part is the...
Right. How's it going today, Nick?
Good. Good morning, Chairman Peters and members of the board.
Who do we have here?
We have with us this morning, we've named this cute little pup Arya. Arya is about she's still a pup. She's about 9 weeks old. She's probably Chihuahua Terrier mix, but just trust that she's a small dog. She's gonna stay small, but she is a puppy. She's got puppy energy. She didn't enjoy the ride this morning, but other than that, she's gonna be an energetic dog and really a cool house pet for somebody.
Oh, that's awesome. She seems pretty friendly in here.
She is.
Oh man, well, hopefully we can find her somebody to take her home today.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming down, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we will consider the consent agenda. All items listed with a CA above the items are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If members of the public wish to comment or ask questions regarding an item on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. Members of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any members of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. Members of the public may also comment on any closed session items. At this time, I'll read the consent agenda item numbers, and that is items 4 through 9 on page 2, 12 through 15 on page 3, 16 through 22 on page 4, items 23 and 24, as well as 26 through 29 on page 5, 30 through 37 on page 6, 38 through 44 on page 7, 45 through 51 on page 8, and lastly, items 52 through 55 on page 9. Is there anyone in attendance that would like to speak regarding the consent agenda? Please come down to the podium.
Good morning, I'm Dennis Fox, and I'd like to talk to you about 31 and 34. And that has to do with tree mortality. And it didn't hold up too well with fires this year. And the fires do not necessarily stay in one jurisdiction. And I would like to see you also try and get the state and the feds to take care of their area. There's a lot, they're getting objections to their taking care of the dead trees because they feel the trees aren't dead, they're just resting. That's in their comments on their cutting. The other thing is the evil guys that have these sawmills. Why, they're getting all this stuff, and they're making money off the lumber. The problem is the guys are making money, and they agree that they're getting screwed because they're getting trees that are, 1, dead, 2, burnt, and they're getting them at salvage rates. So there's a cause and effect that I think should override the ability to appreciate nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the public that would like to speak on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, would any members of the board like an item removed for discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion on consent.
Motion on consent.
Thank you. Is there a second? Perfect. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. And next, I think Supervisor Perez has an announcement she'd like to make.
Thank you so much for your indulgence, Chair, and I would ask for my colleagues' attention as well as I introduce you to my soon-to-be, hopefully, appointee to the Housing Authority. Mr. Leon Duluth, would you please stand up? Welcome here to the Kern County Board of Supervisors chambers. I want to introduce you to my colleagues, Supervisor Couch, our chair, Supervisor Peters, Zach Scrivener, and also Mike Maggard. They are supervisors here. This is the staff of the county. These are folks who will be considering you momentarily, or actually, we just appointed you to the Housing Authority. So first and foremost, I want to congratulate you. I want to thank my colleagues for your consideration of Mr. Duluth and supporting him and acknowledging his position in the community with this appointment. Mr. Duluth is born and raised in Bakersfield. He has hundreds of family members out in the country, as we call, an area of my community where he has many, many family members who thrive there, who struggle there, who have lots of experience and expertise as to the challenges faced most readily by my community and, of course, Kern County on the whole in many parts and in many regards. Mr. Duluth has never forgotten where he comes from. His entire focus of his years here in service has been on getting back to those neighborhoods and working with folks that are system impacted. As a founding member, of course, and senior organizer of All of Us or None of Us, Mr. Duluth has focused on looking after acquiring your own success of education and becoming a small business owner after yourself being system impacted. You have returned to the community to lift a hand up to others around you and say, if I can do it, others can do it. I am so delighted that you are bringing your family and personal and professional expertise to the Housing Authority. It has a huge impact in my district and, of course, the community of which you come from and that you love so dearly and that you continue to devote your adulthood to through service and sacrifice and love. So I want to say thank you. I want to congratulate you. To my colleagues, I'd ask you to keep an eye on Mr. Duluth. Give him your input and insight as you see it, criticism if that's appropriate, as he will be, of course, more readily accessible, more viewable to the public, and of course, accountable to all of us is how that works. So I want to thank you again, congratulate you. I know you have folks here that are celebrating this moment with you, but you have worked hard and you have earned it. And this is a moment where you get recognized and when you take a greater step of responsibility and of course, accountability. So congratulations to you. Thank you for your service. I look forward to all that you're going to bring to that body. So thank you, Mr. Duluth.
Congratulations.
Chair, thank you very much for your indulgence.
Thank you. So our next item will be item number 1, and that is a resolution honoring Ali Anan of the Public Works Department upon his retirement with 34 years of dedicated service to the County of Kern. Is there a motion?
Motion on the resolution.
Second.
Thank you.
A third with thanks.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
So Al, item number one, that's good. You're number one. You can always say that from now on. It's really my honor and pleasure to be able to present this today. I've gotten to work, and my staff has gotten to work with Al over the years, and I have something to say at the end of this, but I want to make sure I get this read into the record. But I have something to say about Al. And then I'm going to turn it over to Lynn Brooks, who's promised that she will say some kind words about Al. And then Al also has his wife and his daughter here today, who, by the way, his daughter is a new employee. When did you start?
In September.
And started in September with HR here at the county. So I want to read this into the record, and then I'll just say a couple of words about Al. It is a resolution honoring and commending Ali A. Anan, we call him Al, upon his retirement with 34 years of dedicated service to Kern County. And it reads, whereas Al Anan began his career with the Kern County Public Works Department on October 19th, 1987. Now, I had to pause there when I first read this because I think that's the day the market crashed, about 500 points. Do you recall that happening?
Yes.
Do you recall that, October 19th?
Yep.
I think that was the day. So you came in at a good time to put money into your deferred comp. He began his career on October 19th, 1987 as an Engineer 1 in the Land Development Division. In 1988, he was promoted to an Engineer 2, then transferred to the Waste Management Division, and was promoted to an Engineer 3. In 1990, he transferred to the Floodplain Management Department, where he facilitated the review and permit processing for several subdivision development projects. In 1992, he transferred to the Engineering, Surveying, and Permit Services Department, we call it ESPS, or we did call it that, and became the County Service Areas and Special Districts Engineer. In 2000, he transferred to the Building Industry Division, BID, and in a few years after that, he promoted to Supervising Engineer in charge of the building inspection and plan check and counter operations. In 2008, he promoted to Engineering Manager, managing BID and several other engineering sections within ESPS, which had merged at that point into the Public Works Department. In 2019, he was appointed to an Assistant Public Works Director overseeing the Building and Code Division, the position he holds until today. In his position, he also served as the county building official. In all of that time, he also received a great deal of education and certifications, and I want to talk a little bit about that. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in civil engineering, and during his career, he became a licensed civil engineer, a certified access specialist, a certified building plans examiner, a certified building inspector, a certified building official, and a certified building code specialist. In 2007, he began teaching evening classes for a local contractor's state licensing school on building codes and construction trades. He continued as an instructor for about 12 years, where he shared his knowledge of building codes with hundreds of construction students. He became an active member of the local branch of the American Public Works Association, where he served as its president, of course, in 2018, and is now serving as an executive board member. He is also a member of the County Building Officials Association of California, currently serving as the principal director of that group. He also participated on several other boards, and how did you have time to do all this, Al? Several other boards and committees over the years. He's been involved in the design and inspection of numerous complex projects during his career and was the engineer of record for several projects in Kern County. These were very important to us. Also, as the building official, he facilitated the review and permit processing for several large projects, including the Amazon Fulfillment Center, the Tohon Outlets, and several other industrial complexes, wind farms, and utility-scale solar projects. Mr. Anan has been involved with several disaster events as well, including the Ridgecrest earthquake and wildland fires. His involvement included the initial response, the damage assessment, but more importantly, the post-disaster recovery efforts. He He expedited the permit process to get the survivors back on their feet as quickly as possible. His dedication to the county and commitment to serving the public has earned him the respect and admiration of both his peers and his colleagues. His many contributions, which are plainly on display today, will be greatly missed, and he is wished the best in all of his future endeavors. Now, it is therefore resolved that the Board of Supervisors, County of Kern, State of California, does hereby honor and commend Al Anon upon his retirement with 34 years of dedicated service to Kern County. And what I want to say about Al is this. I think he personifies what a public servant is all about. There has never been something that our office has asked of him that he didn't do, and he didn't do gladly. And I just want to thank him for all of his work and all of his effort on our behalf, Al. So I want to turn this over. I'm going to turn it over to Lynn first. She's going to say a couple of nice words, and then you can introduce us to your family. And you can let us have it if you want it. You've earned it.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Pope had a personal emergency today, so I'm speaking for him. But Al, I want to tell you that everyone at Public Works, I think, shares in my sentiments. We have always found you to be extremely professional, dedicated, most humble, fair, patient, and certainly an expert in your field. You are going to be missed very, very much by all of us, and very, very, very difficult to replace. And thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn, for your kind words, and Supervisor Couch, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. It's been my honor working for the county and serving your board and the citizen of Kern County for the past 34 years. I have really enjoyed every minute of it. There has not been a day that I woke up in the morning that I would not want to come here. I had the opportunity to work with great people and in so many challenging and exciting projects, and that's really what kept me going. Working for the county has been a rewarding career and inspiring experience for me. And I would like to thank my staff for their support and for their dedication, and without them, I would not be where I am right now. We have an excellent staff and dedicated and trying to help the public. And again, I would like to also thank everyone whom I had the pleasure to work with, and I appreciate their support, whether it's from within the county family or outside the county family, such as the clients, engineer, architect. Our clients and our customer, I consider them as partners, and we all work for a common goal. It's been really a pleasure working with everyone. I will miss everybody, and I wish the best for all. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
I tried to tell Al yesterday that he wasn't allowed to leave, that we need him here, but he apparently wasn't swayed. So congratulations, Al.
Yeah, thank you.
Supervisor Maggard?
Al, I never...
You can say anything you want. You can stay here as long
Just
as
one
you
more
want to say
stuff I
anything.
forgot.
Yeah,
I
you
have
don't-
some of my staff here. I appreciate you being here, and I really appreciate everything that you've done, not only the staff and other staff I have here. So this shows the support that I have. Again, I really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and also, thank you. My dear wife and my daughter, they're here. I also appreciate everything. They've been there for me, and they stand for me at all times when I needed somebody to stand by me.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Don't forget.
Hang on one second. Supervisor Maggard?
Thank you, Al. Apparently you are about to retire because I've never seen you forget any details before. But you can't forget the wife and the daughter particularly. I never heard you complain, even after members of the public who Many times they had to be compelled to be a good citizen with regard to their neighbors and their neighborhood and the state they left their property in. Even after they hammered you, I never heard you complain about them, and I admire that. And if you, I'm sure you have the same positive attitude and the same way with which you carry yourself at work. If you carry yourself that way at home, I'm sure your family's blessed, and they're blessed to have you. So a long and blessed retirement to you.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you, Supervisor Maggard. Supervisor Perez?
Al, my staff is mourning right now. Legitimately, they're texting me how sad they are you are leaving and how irreplaceable you are. Supervisor Couch really said it perfectly. You are personify what public service is and why it is so admired and why it is so important to our community and to the structure of our society. Your consummate professionalism and your high standards of which you never, ever disregard, regardless of who you're dealing with, is really extraordinary and worth noting because you've left an impact here. My staff, of course, will probably never stop referring to remember the good old days when Al was here because they just think so highly of you. And then that's rare in this world. As you know, we can be very cynical towards each other and judgmental. And you provide every opportunity to think so highly of public service, to remind us, what it's about and how we can lift each other up by keeping our standards high as we serve this community and essentially serve each other. So I really mean those things. They're from my heart, and my staff is really going to miss you. And that says quite a bit. And so to your family, who gets you back now more, you sure are lucky. And of course, thank you for sharing them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez. Supervisor Scrivener?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you so much on behalf of the 2nd District for 34 great years. You've been an incredible employee and have helped to shepherd through some very, very important projects. And we're grateful for you and wish you a wonderful, blessed retirement. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And again, congratulations, Al. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
The board will now consider item number 2, and that is proclaiming November 2021 as the 10th anniversary of the Vernon Valenzuela Veteran Justice Program here in Kern County. Is there a motion?
There is, thank you. A motion on item number 2, a proclamation for November 2021 is the 10th anniversary, as just stated.
Thank you. Is there a second?
And a second.
Thank you, Mike.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Good to see you. Gentlemen, come on down, please. Where's Randy? Welcome. Now you're in my hood. I normally go see you guys at the courthouse, but thank you very much. Oh my gosh, good to see you. I promised Randy Dicko I wouldn't cry this morning, so I'm going to work real hard on that. Oh, please come on over. Whoever's here, how marvelous. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning, Chairman Peters and fellow supervisors. I am deeply and profoundly honored to make this presentation today, proclaiming November 2021 as the 10th anniversary of the Vernon Valenzuela Veteran Justice Program in Kern County. The Vernon Valenzuela Veteran Justice Program is a court-sanctioned program co-founded in 2011, 10 years ago, by the late and great one and only Vernon Valenzuela, and attorney Randy Dickow, both veterans, with the assistance and approval of the presiding judge and other judicial officers, the assistant district attorney, chief probation officer, and of course, defense attorneys. The program is designed to assist our military veterans in their navigation of our rather complex criminal justice system. The Veterans Justice Program is an example of actual transformation within the court system and how we assess and treat our beloved veterans. Programs such as the Veterans Justice Program connect our veterans with benefits and resources designed to get them back on track where they belong. I would like to say to Beto and to David and to Randy and so many others, forgive me if I did not list your name, for working tirelessly to transform the culture of the court system, the nature in which we think about each other as neighbors, as veterans, as brothers, as fathers, in this rather complex world, as varying chapters of our lives. I want to thank you for your tireless effort to bring awareness, education, and opportunity for our court system, to be comprehensive, to be full of grace and love as we work with each other and build a stronger society. Thank you. This is an honor. I know we have several speakers today, and I'm delighted to hear from you, but Randy, it is a privilege of mine. I remember your aggressive and tireless advocacy. I remember Vernon from my days at the Public Defender's Office and watching you all, along with your very powerful and shrewd counterparts, working their relationships on the bench, within the criminal justice institutions, right, to say, let's be creative in how we think about the culture of this institution and what it means to the human beings that are within it. Randy, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, officially proclaims November 2021 as the 10th anniversary of the Vernon Valenzuela Veteran Justice Program in Kern County, and this recognition has been entered into the official board minutes. It's been signed by our very honorable chairman, Philip Peters. And now the floor is yours, Randy.
Thank you, Letitia, and happy birthday. Thank you. Another birthday. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I could stand here and talk all day about this program. It's my baby. It was an easy birth, but I'm not going to do that. I prepared actually handouts for you to make my remarks shorter. There's the folded one. It's very hard for me to write in a third person, but I put that history together. The full sheet is what is in the courts. Every court that may come across a veteran, that is to explain it to them, to the attorneys, and other staff as how the program actually operates. I want to introduce people of our team that made this whole program possible and keeping it going today. First, retired Judge Mike Lewis called me about 40 minutes ago, about to go undergo oral surgery. He broke a molar this morning, so he cannot be here. I told him that was a pretty lame excuse for a Marine, but anyway. Next, the people who got the program running 10 years ago, and this was extraordinarily fast. We talked about it in May. It was up and running with the first graduate in November. That's unheard of in the court system, but it worked. Unfortunately, Vernon is not with us. He passed away within months of the program. Mr. Maggard, you may remember the luncheon we had just before he passed in his honor. But Jenny Frank, who at the time was the office manager at the Veterans Center, kept the program running after Vernon passed. Now that role has been taken over by Emma Hale, who started in 2017 as the veteran justice outreach from the VA, and does the evaluations and designs the programs, and continue. Now Dawn Bailey, who also is not with us today, has taken over that position. Attorneys we had in the original team, I think everyone knows David Torres, Beto Sala, who still represent. I no longer practice actively. They're still handling veterans, and every once in a while I can still twist an arm. And by the way, I'm going to do that a little later today. Emma has one that you may be interested in.
Nice job, Randy.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
She said I was assertive. And Josh, your director of the Veteran Service Office, where we get referrals from, and has always been supportive, chairman of the Veterans Collaborative in the past, and I think if I just got off of that board, but I think he's about to be chair again. Was that right?
You got a way of twisting arms.
Yeah, I do. I do. All right, so, and I wanted you to hear, rather than me, and I'm trying to be short, I wanted you to hear from Mike, but not so. Jenny's going to speak for a few moments, but I really want you to hear from Armando Trujillo. He is now a counselor advisor at Bakersfield College. He was the first client to come out of the program November 10th, 2011, his birthday, as it turns out. So it's kind of a rebirth for him, stretching a point. He went on to receive his bachelor's degree and now a master's in social work and is a counselor. And we have several others who have gone through the program and they do that same route. They've enjoyed the counseling, and the counseling has helped so much they want to give back and do it themselves. As I mentioned, Emma Hale, she came to the program in 2017. She does the evaluations. We do training. We were doing it annually. COVID has kind of slowed that down. We will be doing another training the first of the year, I'm told, with the courts. We have some special guests here too that I would point out. Lise Valenzuela, Vernon's widow, and daughter Allison McGee, and my wife hiding farther back, Karen. Without their support, it wouldn't work. So if there's time after words, I know I've just skipped over something, I think. No, I did. I'd be prepared to answer questions, but I really want you to hear from the other people. I think I mentioned that Vernon and I were students together at BC, went on to Cal State, came back to BC. I was an administrator. He was my counselor for the, what was it called the CETA program at the time. I think now you'd be more familiar with ETR, Employer Training Resource. And then he went on to bigger and better things, and his legacy lives on through this and many other programs. It was my honor, I thought, thinking back the other day, I've been involved in 6 projects, veteran projects that I can recall, 5 of which had the name Vernon Valenzuela attached to them. The only one that didn't is the Wall of Honor in the courthouse honoring our Medal of Honor winners. All others, Vernon was involved one way or the other. With that, Jenny, would you?
Thank you, Supervisors. I had the fortune of being the office manager of the Bakersfield Vet Center for 10 years, and Vernon was my mentor. And he started many great things here in Kern County and outside of Kern County. But the one thing that I can say, the takeaway for me from all of this is to watch the beauty of what he created come to fruition. To watch day to day, every veteran that would come in for the Justice Program and watch the healing that was happening firsthand. I can say my dear friend Armando, I met him the day this program, he started the Veteran Justice Program. He was walking up on the Marine Corps birthday. I'm a Marine myself. And I said, are you headed over to the celebration next door at the County Veteran Service Office? And he said, no, I'm here to see Vernon. I'm here for the Justice Program. I said, well, that's perfect. Let's do this. And so he went in. And over that time, Armando became our outreach specialist. He was a work study. I saw him finish his education and then go on and to leave to go to Bakersfield College. That's what, he's the poster child of what this program is. This is a second chance. It's not a get out of jail free. It's a let's work on this Let's find out why you're in this situation as it relates to your military service. And let's work on this and let's get better. Let's learn how to cope in a healthy way. And I watched that firsthand from not just Armando, but many of the participants of the Justice Program. So I have to thank you, each and every one of you, for allowing this program to continue and for allowing my brothers and sisters to receive the healing that they so deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Before we get to Armando, there was two things I forgot to point out. One, another thing you'd really like about this program is it doesn't cost the county anything. It actually saves you money in incarceration costs and supervision costs. So that's on the plus, another on the plus side. The other one I was talking about, the programs. This is probably the program I'm most proud of, maybe because I had the most to do with it, but it doesn't just affect the veteran, it affects the veteran's families, and it affects the wider community at large because they're back into the community as productive, hardworking citizens. And with that, I will give you number one, Armando.
All right, Armando.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for allowing this to happen, and the kind words. And it's just overwhelming right now. Every time I hear his name, I owe him my life. Every day that I went through was worth it. I get to share with veterans every day. It's hard to say that when I meet with them. I was like, man, I'd do it all over again. It's so hard to say because I know what it felt like every single day. But to be able to sit in the chair that I'm in today, meeting with them, meeting with myself, I got out of the military in 2003. I didn't know about benefits or anything till 2010. And that first benefit was Veterans Justice Program. So I went from working for the state as a correctional officer to a felon overnight. And it was beyond understanding at the time. And that's when on that day, the Marine Corps birthday, walked over to met Vernon and telling Jenny the story, kind of what was going on in my life and what brought me here. And I just remember seeing this large shape in the door. And I looked up and he said, "You're Armando?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "They couldn't send me anyone better than you." I didn't know what that meant at the time. It was the lowest day of my life. But like I said, I'd do it all over again to be able to help our veterans today. And thank you, everyone here that was a part of that. And I know Mr. Torres represented me, and I had no idea what PTSD was and didn't want to acknowledge it. I wanted to get back into law enforcement and do what I knew. And he kept, "No, I need your DD 214. I was like, no, I don't, And so it was a 2.5-year process for me that I was in the court system. And that's why I didn't wear court clothes today. So excuse me. But at the end of the day, it was a perfect timing. Things are meant to happen. And they were fighting for the Justice Program. I happened to be there, and here I am today because of the work that they did. And also, the people at the time that approved it. And I really enjoyed speaking about it. I speak about it every day. I had a veteran walk in as a student who just told me he completed the program. And I was like, we were just talking about this that morning. And that right there was just, touching. And again, I'm grateful for the opportunity that we have here in Kern County, and thank you for all your support. Thank you.
If there's any questions?
I have one brief comment. Do you have other?
We do, David. Thank you so much. David, if you wouldn't mind.
Randy and I used to work together, and I served in the Marine Corps. I also served as an Army infantry officer, and I finished up my 34-year military career as a judge advocate And just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in and brought me into the California State Guard, where I'm currently working. I've implemented a program to naturalize Guard soldiers who are legal residents, not yet citizens. And out of the 236, we've already naturalized 72 over the past 9 months. And but we still have a vibrant vet center, and I'm happy to say that my daughter and several other young lawyers have taken the cause up, including myself and Mr. Sala. And I want to thank the Board of Supervisors for recognizing the efforts of all attorneys, all the District Attorney's Office, and everybody, Vet Center, and all veterans who are part of this program. You truly bring a service to this county. Thank you all.
Supervisor Couch, you had a question?
Hold on, sorry, I apologize for the somewhat chaotic nature of my presentation. I'm just so emotional here. I just want to keep going on and talking about this, but I would like to ask my good friend and leader of the bench and bar culture and all that we are in Kern County, the absolute best of us, to say a few words from your heart. Mr. Bethelsalah, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Perez. Chairman Peters, supervisors. I wanted to give you a little background as to how this started. We had at the time in place very structured veteran courts throughout the state. We decided that we needed a less structure that was more flexible, that would recognize the service that our veterans provided to our nation by putting their life on the line for us, for our liberty. We didn't want the structure. We wanted the stakeholders, the prosecutors, the courts, defense attorneys, to recognize their service and recognize the struggles they were dealing with when they returned from theater, in the Middle East and such. And we wanted that to be recognized and incorporated into developing a program that would assist them in dealing with the issues that got them into the criminal justice system to begin with. I recall that there were discussions from others in the criminal justice system, why should we give them a special break, veterans, a special break, when others do not get that break? And I remember telling them, because they put their life on the line for us and for our liberty. And that resonated with prosecutors, to their credit, to Scott Spillman, with judges, with Judge Lewis, and they understood that that had value. And it is significant today when we recognize the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, that this is such an appropriate event today, that we recognize the service and the sacrifice that our veterans have provided to us to ensure that ourselves, our family, and our nation remain safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Beta. Before I come to you, Supervisor Couch, I would just add to that, one of the things the committee did, we did look at programs around the state. For example, the tiny county above us has an 80-page manual, making an extraordinarily cumbersome, almost unworkable program. We started in May, and when we started the program in November, this is it. Page and a half, front and back. That's how the program works. We didn't need, with all due respect to bureaucrats, we didn't need a bunch of I shouldn't say that here, should I? I'm old, I can say what I please. It works, it's still working. So, Supervisor Couch, you had a question?
Randy, a lot of people don't know that we know each other and have for decades.
Hell of a backhand. Not me.
Every once in a while I have these moments up here, and it occurred to me that I would have bet a lot of money that you would have never ended up there, and I'm sure you would have bet a lot of money that I would have never ended up here.
I'd win that bet.
But I have watched you for a long time in this program and others, and I just want to say that I appreciate all the work that you have done for our community, and you deserve every accolade that you may get. And I appreciate. I just want to let you know. I've never told you that. I want to tell you that today.
Well, then I'm going to say thank you, David, Supervisor Couch. I appreciate that, but it's not me. It's these people, and it's the vets that we represent. That's the legacy. That's Vernon's legacy.
Them too. They do a lot of that heavy lifting. I understand.
But thank you, David.
You bet.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
I want to thank you, Chairman, and I have to reiterate what Supervisor Couch said. It really is the individual of Randy Dickel. It really is the individual of Vernon Valenzuela who you really put all their reputation, their relationships on the line to say we must do better. It is the individual who does it. It is Bethel. It is David individually handling this gentleman's case. It is them. It is us, right? The absolute best of us from our hands. You represent how intertwined this community is with our servicemen and women and how we are all connected, like it or not. I say we like it and do better. Thank you. God bless your hands. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Let's get a quick picture here. Let's come on this side. Come on over this way. And let's see the proclamation. Nice job. Wow, you're amazing. And what a natural speaker. You need to run the office for all. I'm being serious. Okay, here we go. Come on, everybody. I'm sure. Come on, everybody. One Kern right here. Thank you. God bless you, brother. Keep up the good work. David, thank you. Thank you. Hey, that's nice work.
Okay, the board will now hear item number 3, the request of Dr. Anna Lavin, Executive Director of the Bakersfield Kern Regional Homeless Collaborative, to address the board and provide information on the recruitment of volunteers needed for the annual point-in-time count to be held on January 26, 2022.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Anna Lavin. I'm the Executive Director for the Bakersfield Kern Regional Homeless Collaborative. And I think it's great that I get to follow up such a fantastic act because this presentation really is all about community service and engaging our community, which is a lot of what we just heard about. So it's a tough act to follow, but I'll see what I can do. I'm here today to ask our community to do what they do best, which is to really give to our community and give back big. And in that way, what we're asking of is mostly their time in this case. The Bakersfield Kern Regional Homeless Collaborative is recruiting for the 2022 point-in-time count. We know that we have in the past been very lucky that our community has shown up and shown up big. We've been able to receive almost 400 volunteers in the past. But for those who are unfamiliar with the point-in-time count, the point-in-time count is an annual count that provides a snapshot view of homelessness in Kern County. And so for those that want to know more and help us know more about what's taking place in our community, all 8,000 square miles of it, this is an excellent opportunity for folks to volunteer. There are some tangible results in that those numbers impact us when it comes to federal and state funding. However, there are an incredible number of intangibles that aren't on my PowerPoint, which includes really the humanizing effect of going out to engage someone who is currently unhoused. What we're looking for is volunteers who are willing to ask a short questionnaire of somebody in the early hours who is known to be essentially sleeping in a place that's not meant for human habitation. So for those of you who are wondering, well, but wait, we have a worldwide pandemic. That is still true, but the point-in-time count is incredibly important, and we are taking some good steps to make sure that everyone, both the volunteers and those who are unsheltered, remain safe and healthy through the process of the point-in-time count. So volunteers are asked to self-report on their vaccination status, and if they are not vaccinated, we do ask that they are able to test and see that they're negative for COVID 72 hours in advance of the event. The second is that we'll be providing training both in person and by Zoom, so we're really allowing for a tremendous amount of flexibility. It seems that about over the last couple of years, folks have gotten much more comfortable with Zoom, so we're really excited about being able to launch that as a way of being able to train folks on what they can expect when they participate in the point-in-time count. And then finally, on the day of course, we'll be providing personal protective equipment and encouraging social distancing. Folks will, of course, be put together in teams of 3 or 4 and be going out literally into Kern to a designated area to do a count and engage folks asking a few questions. And we are lucky that the county has, in the past, helped us with some great technology. Essentially, there's an app on your phone. You click a few buttons, and then you're able to move on to the next individual. So please join our volunteer team. We're asking both those in the community, and we know that the county in the past has supplied many volunteers as well, county employees. So those who are county employees, we encourage you to talk with your department head to see about being able to do that and participate. We're looking at pretty early morning because, again, we're looking for those who are unsheltered. So in other words, those who are sleeping on the streets, in their cars, places, again, that are not meant for human habitation. So we're asking for volunteers who are willing to sign up for Wednesday, January 26th, and that volunteer work will take place between 4 and 8 a.m. Again, if we're trying to cover and canvass 8,000 square miles, you can imagine we need more than just a couple of folks. So we are looking to recruit at least 500 volunteers. Those who are interested can very easily go to the BKRHC website to sign up. It's at bkrhc.org. And there's a big pop-up at the very front that says, please volunteer, please sign up. So we just really encourage and thank the county for all of their contributions to this effort, and look forward to having a really successful pig count in 2022. Thank you, and I'm open to any questions if there are any.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions? Doesn't look like it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Anna.
Okay, the board will now consider item number 10, public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask questions for clarification, make referrals to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Please state and spell your name before making your presentation.
Good morning. My name is Cherie Anchetta. That's C-H-E-R-I. Last name Anchetta, A-N-C-H-E-T-A. I'm a pharmacy technician at the outpatient pharmacies for Kern Medical. Thank you for meeting with me, Mr. Couch. I appreciate that. I know you guys all have a busy schedule, and thank you for taking the calls, Scrivener, Peters, and Perez. I just want to let you guys know that we serve 70% of our clientele that we serve is on state Medi-Cal. So because of that is why we are closing. We're the only city in California that is closing the pharmacy. And these are the people we should be protecting. And I am just a technician. I'm just a concerned patient myself. I could retire for my 32 years, but I'm more concerned about the patients. I don't think this should be my fight, but I'm passionate about it. And I really would appreciate everyone taking the time to, let's do something about this. It is because we have 70% Medi-Cal patients. And I clarified that with my director. So if you guys could take the time to at least try to fix this, we're just right around the corner. It's not very long. December 31st. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Perez.
Ryan, I know we've talked about this matter a couple of times. Thank you, Chairman, spoke with some folks that will be responsible for this merge, which clearly is out of our hands. We fought with everything we had to stop it. We could not stop it. I'm not proud of that. That is our reality. Ryan, what is happening in the next couple of weeks? You know, I know they wanted to get together and make sure that they could hire our people. I don't know that our people want to be hired under the benefit package of the new place. You know, where are we with that?
Supervisor Perez, I know you and I had a conversation about the employees. I believe there are 10 or 12 employees at this that are employed at these pharmacies. You know, working with other pharmacies in the area to potentially get these folks employed in other areas, working.
I
with,
understand they're
working with the
short-staffed. We spoke last week at CSAC, and
Right.
they were excited about the potential of hiring our folks. I know there's an issue with the difference in pay, and I certainly don't want to impose a different standard of life on our employees and make things worse potentially, but I know that they're interested and would like to get together and see, you know, how we make a transition as smooth as possible if folks are interested. You know, I not having met with everyone and seeing where folks are, I don't know how likely that is, but it seems like we should at least have a sit down. And if you guys are open to that, we can have that scheduled within a week. If you're open to that.
Sure, yes. What about the pharmacy, at least one for the patients? Is that not a possibility?
I'm sorry, one representative?
No. So keeping one pharmacy open.
Okay, Ryan, could you speak to that? Where are we in the closure that is now set for 3 weeks away?
Kern Medical's closing those pharmacies.
Keeping the campus pharmacy open?
The inpatient.
For inpatient
Yeah,
service.
inpatient pharmaceuticals is going to continue, but the Sagebrush and the Kern Medical campus operating as a destination, as a pickup for medication for outpatient folks is not going to happen any longer. The state of California eliminated the funding for those two pharmacies. Supervisor Perez, we did a great deal of work. You did personally. Mr. Judd at Kern Medical, personally with the governor. It's a great deal of work put in. The state did not want to change direction. There are other available alternatives in the community in terms of picking up medication, you know, whether it's a Walgreens or a Rite Aid or Walmart. There are a number of other alternatives in the community for folks to go and pick up their medication. That is what that has been the recommendation, or at least the view from not only Kern Medical, but HealthNet and also Kern Health Systems. And that's where we are. In terms of employment for the folks that work in these pharmacies currently, I think that we can do everything that's possible, working together, trying to figure out how we might make this transition for those employees.
If you could, thank you, Ryan, so much. I really appreciate you. And yes, you have been deeply devoted to trying to stop this, as we all have been. It is out of our hands, but I think this next chapter of sitting down at least and saying, you know, regarding this merger, what opportunities exist? I know they want to. I met with them last week in Monterey CSAC, and they're looking for some direction as to how they can be helpful. And so I think we sit down and see where it goes. If you can get your folks rallied for next week and get me a good time, I'll get them here or a rep, and let's start the conversation at least. I know that we did everything in our power, and I don't want to seem like I'm giving up on it, not closing. I've accepted the reality for what it is because of the amount of conversations I've had with our Mr. Judd, and then of course knowing that ultimately it's the governor's decision and not something that we necessarily agree on, but certainly out of my expertise and hands. So I would like to move on this, if you're okay with it. If you could communicate with your folks, if you could provide your contact information to our CAO, then I'll get their rep in, and let's at least get the conversation going. Realizing, you know, I certainly can't make any promises on behalf of a corporation, but I know that they want to make this right, and that is the right start, if you will. I felt their heart was in the right place and that they're looking to be good partners and not just swoop in on the business, if you will. I sincerely felt that. How it plays out in the end, devil's in the details, as you know, is a little trickier, but I certainly could use your guidance and expertise and seeing, how we could even improve maybe their operations by understanding our patient base better or whatever. Whatever magic can be created by us sitting down with open hearts. So if you could provide your information to Ryan, let's get that going. Let's do it next week.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do we have any other speakers?
Good morning, Emma De La Rosa, Policy Advocate with Leadership Council. Just wanted to express my gratitude to the CAO and Mr. Service, for their attention and for your attention as well on the much needed resource of streetlights in Fuller Acres. We're really excited to be supporting the county with obtaining the community interest and feedback and see this project through. We did speak to residents and they're super excited to see this happen, so I do appreciate it, and I just wanted to express my gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers?
Thanks.
Good morning, Chairman Peters, Board of Supervisors. My name is Francisco Martinez. I'm a county employee for 18 years. I'm a CPS social service worker and a member of SEIU 521. I guess you know by now that our members voted. We accepted the last offer by the county. It was hard fought. There's a lot of strong. I talked to a lot of folks, and a lot of strong feelings. Is this the best we can get? And I basically had to say, yeah. And strong feelings. A lot of people don't feel appreciated. I'm trying to start the bleeding from CPS. I'm here to tell you it's a crisis. Fresno is a crisis, and their director's leaving. And I totally understand why Ms. Murphy's going to, retire in March. God bless her, but, and I'm telling you right now, we don't stop this bleeding in CPS, you're going to have more management leave because, and the reason I'm emphasizing this is I'm going to pound on this equity study compared to social workers in other counties, and I'm already doing my homework. And I'm just going to stick to my personal job description, social worker 3. I already looked at 5 of the 7 other counties we're going to be compared to. And they're top end. I'm top end already. Yeah, and they're all getting paid, except for San Joaquin. No, they're all getting on top. So what I'm trying to say is when we do this equity study starting Friday, social workers are going to be up first up to bat. Just give us the max, because I'm trying to stop the bleeding, and we're losing people. I'm so sorry to be a downer after all this great stuff, but I'm telling you, I'm speaking on behalf of the folks, and I'm going to end Rick Peters. We got to stop the bleeding. I'm trying to tell people this is about as good as we can get. There's a lot of disheartened social workers. I'm doing my best to tell them to hang in there, but we can't mess around. I know we're going to get the 4.4, but we need to get the top end of the max compared to other counties. And I guess, I don't know, you can talk to council. Maybe we can start meeting now. Technically, negotiation is over, and maybe I can start giving you the weeds to explain what we do. And you guys really appreciate that. This is a very complex job we do. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I hope to meet with you guys soon. Thank you.
Any other speakers that would like to address the board? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to our next item, which is item number 11, board member announcements and reports. And I'd like to begin by inviting Director of Public Health, Bryn Kerrigan, to share an update on the COVID-19 pandemic.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. On November 26, 2021, the World Health Organization designated a new variant, B11529, known as Omicron, as a variant of concern. There are currently 2 variants in the United States that are classified as variants of concern, Delta and Omicron. Omicron has approximately 50 mutations from the original SARS-CoV-2 virus, which raises concern regarding a potential increase in infectiousness or transmissibility and potential immune evasion or decrease in vaccine-induced and naturally acquired immunity. However, there's still much to be learned about Omicron. Omicron has been identified in many states throughout the United States, including California. While there are no identified cases of Omicron in Kern County as of now, Omicron is actively circulating in neighboring counties, so it's likely only a matter of time before it's identified here. Mitigation strategies remain the same with Omicron as they have been with COVID-19 and all other variants throughout the pandemic. As of yesterday, 963,800 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been administered to Kern County residents. 429,440, or 50.2% of Kern's 5 and older population have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Another 57,275 people have 1 dose of their 2-dose series, meaning 57% of Kern's 5 and older population is at least partially vaccinated. 74.4% of our 65 and older population are fully vaccinated. 92,753 doses have been administered to our 5 to 17-year-old population, with 40,402, or 21.7%, being fully vaccinated. Another 11,334 have received 1 dose of their 2-dose series, meaning 27.8% of our 5 to 17-year-old population are at least partially vaccinated. Over 82,000 doses have been identified as either an additional dose for those who are immunocompromised or a booster dose, meaning that 19% of our fully vaccinated population has been boosted. Last week, more than 21,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine were administered to Kern County residents. This is more than double the number of doses administered the previous week and the highest number of doses administered in a single week since early May. 5,065 Kern County residents completed their vaccination series last week, which is the highest number of people completing their series in a single week since early October. As of today, our case rate is 12.9 per 100,000 people. At my last board presentation 3 weeks ago, it was 21.3. As of today, we have 129 hospitalizations and 39 ICU patients. 3 weeks ago, we had 207 hospitalizations and 50 in the ICU. As of yesterday, Kern County's hospital system had 189 staffable available regular hospital beds and 36 staffable available ICU beds. Kern's ICU capacity is 13.3%, and the regional ICU capacity is 13.5%. Although we are seeing the burden of COVID-19 ease on the hospitals, both the hospitals and the pre-hospital emergency medical services system remain impacted. We have been working with the state to expand hospital bed capacity in Kern in preparation for a potential 4th surge. Starting this week, the state has provided staffing for 15 additional ICU beds that will be located at Adventist Health Bakersfield, and 15 med-surg beds that will be located at Adventist Health Delano. We also have 2 strike teams assisting with ambulance response to 911 calls in Kern. Each strike team consists of 5 ambulances, 10 ambulance crew members, and a supervisor. These teams are slated to remain in place through December 18th, and call volume will be evaluated at that time. We continue to review the state's modeling on a weekly basis for planning purposes. The worst case scenario in the state's modeling continues to suggest a significant surge in early February, peaking with 1,279 cases on February 14th and 947 hospitalizations on February 19th. The moderate case scenario suggests a smaller surge peaking at 231 cases on February 17th and 217 hospitalizations on February 24th. The best case scenario suggests a slow decrease in disease transmission, with hospitalizations bottoming out in May 2022. According to the California Department of Public Health, unvaccinated Californians are 7.2 times more likely to get COVID-19 than fully vaccinated Californians. Unvaccinated Californians are 12.5 times more likely to be hospitalized with COVID-19 than vaccinated Californians, and unvaccinated Californians are 14.8 times more likely to die from COVID-19 than fully vaccinated Californians. Kern's average daily case rate over the past 14 days is 12.1. Our vaccinated average daily case rate is 4.12, while our unvaccinated average daily case rate is 18.76. Over the last 14 days, 84.61% of our cases are amongst those who are unvaccinated. Since January 21st, Kern County has had 66,009 cases, with 60,659, or 91.9% being amongst those who are unvaccinated, and 5,350, or 8.1% being amongst those who are fully vaccinated. 1.27% of our fully vaccinated population has tested positive for COVID-19. During the same time period, we have had 3,122 COVID-related hospitalizations. 2,889, or 92.54%, were in those who are unvaccinated, and 233, or 7.46%, are in those who are vaccinated. 0.055% of our vaccinated population has been hospitalized with COVID-19. We have identified 1,199 individuals who have positive tests more than 90 days from their initial positive test. This equates to 0.75% of our residents who have had COVID-19 that have been reinfected, as compared to 1.27% of our vaccinated population who have had a post-vaccination infection. There have been 144 individuals who have been reinfected with COVID-19 who were hospitalized during one or more of their COVID-19 illnesses. 56 were only hospitalized during their first infection, 62 were only hospitalized during their second infection, and 26 were hospitalized during both infections. Those who were hospitalized during their second infection or following development of some form of natural immunity totals 88, or 0.055% of Kern County's population who has had COVID-19. For comparison, 0.055% of the vaccinated population has been hospitalized. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, that concludes my update.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, our last item is item number 25. That's a proposed ordinance amending Chapter 2.06, Title 2 of the Kern County Ordinance Code to adjust the boundaries of supervisorial districts 1 through 5 following the 2020 federal census and to meet federal, state, and local requirements. And with that, I'll turn it over to our County Counsel, Margot Reza.
Thank you. Good morning, board members. As you will recall, on November 16th, your board adopted a map with new supervisorial district boundaries. You took that action following 5 public hearings, consideration of public comments and written correspondence, consideration of, and review and revision of various draft maps. Additionally, at your direction, county staff conducted informational meetings and public workshops about the redistricting process and engaged with civic engagement. All redistricting information has been posted on the dedicated county redistricting website, which included a feature for anyone to submit a comment or map for consideration. The process followed by your board complies with the Federal Voting Rights Act and the California Fair Maps Act. The next step in the redistricting process is adoption of an ordinance that formalizes the boundaries of the map you adopted on November 16th. As such, it is staff's recommendation that your board waive the reading and introduce the ordinance to amend Chapter 2.06, Title 2 of the Kern County Ordinance Code to adjust the boundaries of supervisorial districts 1 through 5 following the 2020 federal census to meet federal, state, and local requirements. Make finding this is not a project subject to the requirements of CEQA, 14 California Code of Regulations, Section 15378, subsection B, subsection 5, and if considered to be a project, it would be exempt pursuant to Sections 15320 and 15061, subsection B, subsection 3 of the state CEQA guidelines, and approve.
Great, thank you very much. Is there anyone in attendance that would like to speak on this item? Okay, are there any questions or comments from the board? If not, I would entertain a motion on staff's recommendation.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Please cast your votes.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm
wait,
sorry.
sorry.
Okay, we'll try this again. Okay, the vote is 4 ayes, 1 opposed, Supervisor Perez. And the motion is approved.
Thank you. Okay, having no more items to consider, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to consider items 56 through 59 under the County Administrative Office, as well as item 60 under the Office of the County Council.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Without objection, we are adjourned.
The Special Operation Forces